Brian Sims, who I'm going to talk to right now. Brian, come on in.
Well, hello there.
Brian, you look like you're in a between two ferns type of setting.
Right, like I'm in a
here.
dentist's office or something now. I'm like awkwardly in my room, but before I came on, I realized that I had nothing around me. So the plan was to somehow make this look a little bit more homely.
Okay. All right, Brian, you've been on this show before. You, as a state representative, one of the few gay state representatives in the Pennsylvania House, and then as a candidate for lieutenant governor. Now you didn't make it that. And what do you think? Why weren't you nominated for lieutenant governor?
Amber, you were bad luck. I didn't want to say anything to John
You
and Taylor.
You men.
John seems to know already. I didn't want to tell Taylor yet, but no. You know, I just didn't win. I ran a fantastic race.
Yes, you did.
Got support from all 50 states, in the country, and still didn't win. And so, you win some and you lose some. I'm lucky enough that I have won 5, elections to the House of Representatives in Pennsylvania. But I didn't win my statewide race for lieutenant governor. And so it goes.
And but yes, you did. You ran a great campaign. And so you tell us about in Pennsylvania, you could have run for your state rep position and lieutenant governor, but you chose not to.
I chose not to. Yeah, it sounds a little more complicated than it actually is. But Pennsylvania is one of those states that allows elected officials to run for higher office and run for their own office. And so in the House of Representatives, for example, where I'm from, there were a number of my colleagues that ran for higher office, including the guy that actually beat me, who all ran for their own seats in the House, which many of them I'm glad. Malcolm Kenyatta, for example, I'm really, Malcolm's going to be returning to the House of Representatives, which is really important.
Yes, he's been a guest. He's been a guest.
But I knew, I think I probably knew before I ran for lieutenant governor that I wasn't going to seek a 6th term in the House of Representatives for a lot of reasons. One of them just being that 10 years is enough. But I also have a close friend named Deja Lynn Alvarez, who ran for my seat in the House. She didn't win either, but she would have been the first trans Latina ever elected to the House of Representatives anywhere in the United States. And so, it was certainly worth the run. She's the first to ever run in Pennsylvania state for a House seat, but it was definitely time.
So when you were in the state legislature, you were one of the few people of the LGBTQ community, which is amazing for a state that large.
Few out ones.
They what? Oh, out. Action in the cloakroom.
Right. Well, it's a big building. When I was elected 10 years ago, I was the first out person ever elected to our legislature. And I was joined 6 years later by Malcolm Kenyatta. And next cycle, there will be 5 out elected officials in the Pennsylvania General Assembly. I feel pretty happy about that.
Oh, yes. Yeah. How many members in the House?
There are 203 in the House, 50 in the Senate.
Wow. Need some more.
need a lot more, And Bert, it's funny that you say that. The Williams Institute out of UCLA, which tracks a lot of the data surrounding LGBTQ people, says that there should be about 21,000 out elected officials in the country based on our demographic. But as John and Taylor know, there's actually only about 1,000 of us, just over 1,000 of us. And so anybody that's watching your show that's interested in politics, I hope they'll reach out to all 3 of us because we desperately need more out LGBTQ plus people in politics. We bring a lot to these jobs. And oftentimes we're among the first people, from our communities to serve in these jobs.
What's so cool about Vermont, as you saw with John and Taylor, is our next congressperson from Vermont, our only congressperson, is going to be an out lesbian. Mm-hmm. Our state treasurer is going to be a gay male, and
you're going to get so much shit done.
And, I asked John and Taylor how many members are in the gay caucus, and they'll go, I don't know. We're just there.
I was a caucus.
They don't need to count.
For a long time.
It's amazing. So, what are you doing now? I know you've been traveling because I stalk you on Facebook, so I know you've been traveling.
I've been doing a lot. So, the election was in May, and in June is our budget month, where we spend the entire month of June, even weekends sometimes, really working on our budget. So I did that up until the end of June. I had an opportunity to do a little bit of traveling. My partner lives on the West Coast,
You
and
have a
so
partner?
I do have a boyfriend. Amber, he hates you, I'm sure. Um, and so he and I got to spend some time together. As we were talking a little bit beforehand, I'm working out what it is that I'm going to do next. I'm going to stay in equality. I'm going to stay in advocacy. I'm going to try to take some of the lessons that I've learned and one of the most gerrymandered legislatures in the country, and I'm going to try to take some of those lessons nationwide, maybe worldwide. But we'll see. I've got 45 more days left in session, and I owe it to my constituents to really focus on that.
You're a lawyer.
I am. I'm a civil
So,
rights attorney.
so will you rely on that as income or?
I hope I don't have to. Yes and no. That's probably a lawyer's answer. The work that I do, I often find very hard to divorce from the fact that I'm an attorney, that I'm a bar attorney, and I won't be taking clients in the way that I think attorneys, that most people think of attorneys as doing, but I will be working with companies and legislators and communities and and hopefully a lot of elected officials to make change and continue to fight for equality at a time, frankly, when we need it more than I think many of us thought that we would. I chair the LGBTQ Equality Caucus of our legislature, and Amber, I track 28 pieces of legislation that we need passed, and some of it is closer to happening than others, and some of it isn't anywhere near happening. But as I look around the country, I know that this is legislation that the whole country needs.
It sounds like being a lobbyist. Is that what you'd call yourself?
Nope. I'm going to teach lobbyists how to do a better job. When every one of us has been to a Pride and seen companies' names plastered all over everything at Pride, and those companies, they say they support us publicly. They say they support us at Pride. They say they support us at LGBTQ History Month. But oftentimes, when those companies are in capitals and state legislatures advocating for tax breaks and zoning code changes, they oftentimes forget those policies that are supportive of the LGBTQ communities that they say they support. And so I'm gonna maybe hold some feet to the fire, maybe inspire some companies to get more active as they advocate. But I'm going to teach lobbyists, I think, how to do a job that's more inclusive of LGBTQ people.
Oh, that is so cool. Thank you. All right. Now, Pennsylvania. What the heck is going on there?
Yeah, right. All right.
We've had John Fetterman on the show before he announced. We knew he was going to announce, but we had him on there. And oh my gosh, I'm
Isn't he
supporting
incredible?
him. And they're making this big deal about him having to read questions opposed to hear them. I don't
Amber,
get
I
it.
could be reading questions right now. Every news reporter I've ever seen deliver the news uses a teleprompter. I see people use them all the time. Also, we're a country that can be accommodating of disabilities, whether permanent or short term, and we're supposed to be. It's a part of our value system, I think. And I'm actually really excited that I believe the Senate's going to have somebody like John Fetterman, who is different from so many other senators in so many other ways. And this is just going to be another way that I think that he adds to the sort of fabric of the U.S. Senate.
So, are you worried that this is going to be a detriment? What are the chances of being elected?
No, so right now he's polling in the lead. Of course, Pennsylvanians are all very familiar now with Dr. Oz, our neighbor from New Jersey, who's running here in Pennsylvania. This is a guy who kills puppies, who drinks his own urine, and owns 10 homes around the world, and none of them are in Pennsylvania. And it's frustrating to no end to see so many Republicans support him in this state, because I know that he's not reflective of their values as they say their values are, but they're willing to set aside everything they care about because they want the control that a Dr. Oz would give them. And I think, frankly, Pennsylvania's voters see right through it. And I think that's why John Fetterman, I think, is polling really well, because he's the only candidate for this race that has shown up in every single county of Pennsylvania time and time again.
And he does. He goes to those places up in Erie and places that are totally red,
yep.
and he talks to them.
And they really appreciate that he shows up. People understand politics when they can hear from the people that are our politicians, and I see that every single day. And what John Fetterman's able to do is really connect with Pennsylvanians in a way that I've never seen another elected official in this state do.
It's fascinating because, plus there's a lot of closeted Democrats or left-leaning people in those places that need encouragement to get out there and voice their opinion. Put that yard sign out there and tell their neighbors that, yeah, this is what I believe in.
Yeah, to your point, Amber, Pennsylvania is a very rural state. I
Oh,
love Philadelphia. I love Pittsburgh. Proud of our big cities, but Pennsylvania is a very rural state, and rural Democrats are the most powerful voters in our state more often than not. They can control so much of what happens in our elections, and it's why a John Fetterman is so important, because he not only appeals to rural Democrats, they see themselves in him because he's out and about throughout the Commonwealth. And with the Dr. Oz, just he has to cross the state border if he wants to travel around Pennsylvania.
do you have your plate of crudité there to us nosh on while we talk?
Just the carrots. Just the carrots.
All right. Thank you so much, Brian, for talking.